We're taking a look at a drug that's been around for decades, but is becoming more popular and more dangerous.
Fox 12 investigative reporter Ezra Kaplan has been digging into the dangers of nitrous oxide and what really we all need to know about the drug that, Ezra, it's easier to get a hold of than a bottle of beer.
That's absolutely right. And you know, you might not realize it, but you definitely have heard of nitrous oxide before. Whether you know it as laughing gas at the dentist or supercharging race cars in the movies, or maybe even those little cartridges used to make fresh whipped cream at home. What you might not know is that it's quickly becoming one of the more dangerous substances driving the addiction crisis. David Warwick may never walk again.
My spine is so depleted. I have lesions all up and down my spine.
All from just 1 year of using nitrous oxide. At first, the drug provided relief.
I wanted to forget about work and all the stress of life and how bad I felt about myself for situations, and that's what did it.
But with a high that only lasts about 15 minutes, he quickly needed more and more.
So these canisters I was using, I could put them in my coat and I just sit there and hit it every once in a while and nobody had a clue.
The gas became his top priority and the rest of his life began to fall apart.
And finally it got to the point where things got so bad and I felt so terrible about myself. I called my mom and I said, "Mom, I need help."
Well, it rocked my world. Yeah. I knew something was going on, and I said, "What do you need?" He said, "Treatment."
Instead, he ended up in the ER, unable to walk.
Pretty much from my chest down right here, I was completely paralyzed.
Warwick went on to spend a month in the hospital and another month in a nursing facility. Recreational nitrous oxide use can result in damage to the body's myelin sheath, which insulates and protects nerves in the brain and spinal cord. Dr. Courtney Temple is a specialist at OHSU who studies the impacts.
Even with the correct treatments, sometimes patients have very, very long recovery processes and they may still be incomplete, so they may never fully recover.
Nationally, the number of nitrous oxide poisoning cases went from 28 in 2003 to over 400 last year. But even the experts agree that is likely a significant undercount. And in Oregon and Washington, the trend has been similar, with both states on track to hit new highs this year.
A repeated use can injure the brain and the nerves, and just because it is sold in shops does not mean it is safe.
And the reality is that nitrous tanks are easy to find. They are sold at mini-marts and gas stations all over the state. You can even order them online from retailers like Amazon and Walmart. And on each tank, you'll see them marked as for culinary use only, for making whipped cream. But the colorful packaging and huge container sizes reveal their real purpose.
It's not for whipped cream. It's being advertised for people to get high on.
As David recovered in the hospital, his parents undertook the task of cleaning up the house. There were hundreds of them all over the house.
This is literally death in a can.
Canister by canister, the graveness of the situation hit home. But as David has begun his healing journey, they are feeling hope and are grateful for another chance with their son.
I've always told our kids that it doesn't matter what you do, we're always going to love you.
With 2 months sober and a clear mind, it's a message that David can finally hear loud and clear.
Without them, I wouldn't be sitting in this house right now. I'd be in home care.
And so let's put this into a little bit of perspective. These are the canisters that are these are the canisters that David was talking about. Now, if you think about it, the canisters used to make whipped cream, they're usually about this big. This is what we're talking about. And so the size and the fact that, look, they come with this little tip that comes into it. This isn't for making whipped cream. This is for putting into your mouth.
Well, because how could you even possibly, you put it into a little cartridge and then make whipped cream? It's just not realistic that anybody using it for whipped cream would even go this route.
That's absolutely right. Yeah.
Is there a particular age group that's drawn to this?
You know, it's getting younger and younger, and that's something that is concerning to the experts that we talked about. Now, in Oregon, just earlier this year, lawmakers passed a bill that made it so that you had to be 18 years old or older to purchase the nitrous oxide
product. And where are you purchasing it? You
can purchase it just about anywhere. You can do it at a mini mart, at a vape shop. You know, it's things that you might find alongside Kratom, a vape, tobacco products.
Okay.
But, you know, I should say that in Washington, there is no age limit. And so you could be 16 years old, walk in and buy this.
And we were talking in the break that, it's harder to get cold medicine
right?
than it is
Yeah.
to get
Something like
this.
There's a lot of things that are far more regulated than nitrous oxide. And this, I mean, look, everybody I talked to, I've talked to some chefs about this. This is not what they're using to make whipped
Ezra,
cream.
turn that around just a little bit so we can see. Great way. So you can see the marketing on it. You know, just it looks like it's your average dessert product, right? You know, in the way it's marketed.
And they sell them in different flavors. They sell them all kinds of things. The shininess, the colors. It's pretty clear that they're being marketed to a demographic that is looking for something like this.
And parents, take a look at that. I mean, if you're finding these around your house, be alarmed.
Yeah, if this is something that you're finding that your children have, it's time for a very serious conversation.
And that was a staggering number of cans
Those
that
were all
they had
his.
at their house.
Those were all his. And I mean, look, when he got to the worst of his addiction, we're talking 6 or 7 of these every single day.
Wow.
It
Thank
does a
goodness for
number
his
on the body.
parents, you know, for his parents who were there for him, and
Absolutely.
he knew he could call him. My goodness. All right, a lot to think about. Ezra, thank
Indeed.
you.
All right, let's get to Andy Carson.